Hello and welcome to Bethlehem Behind the Scenes Part 2. Many of you enjoyed the little video that we did showing you a bit of the behind the scenes setup for our live streaming and our pre-recording. But there's been a lot else that's been going on behind the scenes here at Bethlehem these past couple of months. And so I'm going to show you a few more things today, what Lisa's been up to in the office and a few other things around the place. Hope you enjoy this video. Yeah, so early on in this process where we started moving all sorts of things online, we realized, of course, that there's a number of people that don't necessarily have access to the internet. And so we're thinking, how are we going to get some sort of worship resources to them as well? Lisa has been working quite hard on this in our office, and there have been a number of other people involved. And so we're going to get her to tell us a little bit about this process now.
Thanks, Pastor Josh. We thought about the fact that there'd be a lot of people who don't have access to the internet. So this step started back while the pastors were doing their pre-recording, and I was starting to put things together such as worship books, and I thought people have access to internet, liturgy, being able to worship. Let's give people access at home to these same resources. So we send out a liturgy book which has a printed sermon in the back and also some Bible verses. We send out the bulletin of the week, last week's bulletin. This week's not finished yet. We also have a copy of the CD which we send.
And so how many of these packs are you have you been arranging on a regular basis, Lisa?
So on a regular basis, there'd be 27 packs that have been going out to people. We send some by mail, and we have also some people who help with delivery. These go as far as Hahndorf as well. We just had a gentleman walk in who comes in week by week. He collects the CD and he takes it back to Hahndorf and puts it onto a tape and takes it into the residents of the nursing home.
Yeah, and so I can say that this scene here is not set up at all. This is actually Lisa hard at work. You can see all the worship, the envelopes there are all set up for being sent out, and here's all the printouts over here. And this is quite orderly. Sometimes they're even more scattered all around the place because there really is a lot of work going into distributing these. So Lisa, and what's been your experience? You yourself have been delivering quite a few of these and talking to other people who are getting them. What's been your experience of people's reactions to these?
So it's been very meaningful to hear people's reactions. So one person, we didn't actually have their address to begin with, that they had moved. We didn't have a current phone number. And of all things, I met them outside of IGA one evening in my local Goodwood area. And I spoke to them and they were wanting to find out what was going on with church. I went home, I brought them back some packs, and then they would like some delivered. And the reaction I've been getting is that they are soothing to receive the Divine Mercy service. Other people have been grateful that they can worship on a Sunday while everybody else is worshipping. And they may be able to worship with their family members also now in their own homes. It's been a blessing to be able to have God's word go into people's homes and they can still be connected with our congregation. Thank you to the hardworking volunteers who have been distributing these packs to people. Thanks be to God that we have the technology and we have the resources to be able to take God's word out into the community and to people's homes. It's a great opportunity to be able to pray with people and read God's word when we visit them. It's been socially distanced thus far, but thanks be to God, we soon will be able to come together again.
Yeah, well, thank you, Lisa, for everything that you've been doing behind the scenes, and we might nip over the road and try and get another little bit of footage so Lisa can show you the CD burning process of the services and sermons as well. But God bless you, Lisa. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
So, one of my abiding memories from this COVID time here at Bethlehem will be watching Pastor Fraser, I should say, pace up and down Sudolt's Place on his phone. As you've seen on the other parts of the video, I've been fairly involved in some tech things behind the scenes. Just got out of shot there. And there's been all sorts of other things happening in the office. And Pastor Fraser, of course, has been heavily involved in the recording and tech side of things as well. But another particular thing he's taken on during this time is to hit the phones. And so he might tell you a little bit about that. But if you've been here these past couple of months, this is one of the sights that you will see. Pastor Fraser wandering up and down Sudolt's Place. Perhaps you've been on the other end of the phone as he's been on a phone ministry here at Bethlehem. And so here he is, Senior Pastor Fraser Pierce. We noticed you've been on the phones a fair bit. Fraser, tell us what you've been doing.
Well, especially at the beginning of COVID, I tried to call as many people from the congregation as I could, just to see how they are, to talk with them, to see if they need anything, to pray with them, this sort of thing. So I got the directory out, started to call through from A to Z. So not everyone, I don't believe, but a good chunk of the congregation have got through.
Pretty good effort,
Yeah.
I reckon. Pretty good strike rate. And so now you know if you've been on the other end of the phone, this is the other end of it, so to speak. And seems to have been a pretty fruitful ministry. So God bless you for it, Fraser.
Yeah, no, I'm not always pacing up and down here, but I do like to get some exercise.
Very good. All right, we'll see you later. So here we are now in the church, in the little room that is on your left as you enter the main doors at Bethlehem. And so now Lisa finds herself over here. And what do you do over here, Lisa?
Well, I come in here once I've burnt the original CD. As I explained to you before, from the iTunes stage, it then goes to the CD. And then I put it into this machine, which in theory does multiple copies at a time. This might not be the best day for us to be looking at this. Today it's decided that it's got a bit of a stomach ache, so 3 is not quite its optimal number today. And of all things, the service from Sunday has a stomach ache as well. So I'll be going back to the drawing board today with that one and working on hopefully
Reburning it, an original to come over here and do multiple copies, yeah. Right?
But the good part is the Ascension Day service from last night, which we were able to get from a YouTube clip and do the conversion, is now currently doing its thing. And we may even see it come out. I think may have time. Once it comes out, it goes into a little package as this, and then we pop it into the envelope with a copy of the bulletin and a copy of the service order. All of these resources are the same resources that you would find on your worship page.
Oh, there it is.
There we go.
So there's two burnt CDs have come out then. Ideally you can get 3, but just 2 at the moment.
Which is better than 1.
Indeed.
It's a really good resource to have, to be able to burn more than 1 at a time.
So here we are with Office Administrator Steve Mackenzie. And Steve, we're doing our part 2 behind the scenes here at Bethlehem. So perhaps you can just tell us a little bit about what's it looked like for you here in the office these past months during COVID?
Well, in late March, I got to say it was pretty frantic, trying to work out exactly how we were going to respond, whether we were going to close down, how many people we could have, and so on. And then all of a sudden the government took everything out of our hands. And so my life for quite a long time looked like this, because I had the screen down. I wanted it to appear as though the office was closed. I still spent a lot of time on the phone, people ringing up all the time asking what was going on, and I had to give them the latest version of the news as I knew it.
Yeah.
But then as of about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and there we are. The church
Open for business,
the church
almost.
in the sun, and the office has been open for some time, and fingers crossed and Lord willing, the church will be open soon too. So that's what it's been looking like physically. And in terms of my workload, as I said, a lot of people are ringing up, but also just a constant need to be sending out emails. I think myself and Lisa have added on over 100 people to our email distribution lists, particularly in that first month, because suddenly it was everyone needed those emails. Before it was just a small list of people who wanted the bulletin. After that it just became everyone in the congregation had to get that. Had to suddenly start promoting the website. A lot of people suddenly getting on Facebook very quickly, so we had to get streamlined about how we were doing all of that sort of stuff. So that's been good. That's been a real challenge. And more recently, Pastor Josh, who's standing behind the camera, has been asking me to help out with the live streaming and some of the recording. So yeah, it's been great to get involved with that sort of technical side of things too.
Yeah, so you've been helpful with the technician thing. I think in an earlier recording you even might have featured as a guest vocalist, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, well, I don't know how many people would have noticed that.
And so, Steve's been very helpful behind the scenes with all sorts of things here, and he's just given you a little snapshot of things. Anything else come to mind, Steve, today?
Been having people ringing up saying, listen, I've been going to AA meetings in your stables since the 1970s. That's where I first got sober. Can you please tell me when you're opening up again? And it's becoming really apparent to me just how important that building is to a lot of people. So figuring out what to do with those groups, and hopefully they can all come back again and keep enjoying that service again. That's been really important and a real eye-opener to me, just, what a good service that is.
Well, thank you very much, Steve, for all you've been doing behind the scenes at Bethlehem during this time. And
you're very welcome.
And God willing, some of you folk out there will be able to drop in more and more over coming weeks and months and see Steve and the rest of us in the flesh.
Good on you. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys.
God bless you. There it is, behind the scenes, part 2. Hope you've enjoyed it, and God bless you. See you next time.